Thousands have been gathering today at the California State Capitol in Sacramento in a rally against a bill, AB 495. It's a radical bill. We've been talking a lot about it. It would undermine parental rights and literally create an alarming risk of child abduction and exploitation. And with the pushback, literally, that is swelling in California, we wonder if the state leaders there are getting the message. Well, joining me now from the state capitol in California is Will Estrada. He's a senior counsel for the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. Will, glad to have you. Welcome back to Washington Watch.
Well, Congressman, thank you so much for having me on. It's a privilege to be with you.
Well, it's an honor to have you, and I understand the rally is actually wrapping up right now, and I want to get your take on that and what it was like there today. But before I do that, let me just have you reiterate for our viewers and listeners why your organization is among a host of others who are opposed to this bill.
Well, we were founded in 1983. Back then, homeschooling was illegal in many of the 50 states. You had parents being persecuted for homeschooling, facing jail time. And through the work of Homeschool Legal Defense and our allies, state leaders, and really just brave, engaged parents like the thousands who came out today, homeschooling is now legal in all 50 states. It's legal in California. But this bill threatens all of that. AB 495 won't just affect homeschool parents. It'll affect private school parents, public school parents, every single person with their parental rights. And what I said here a few minutes ago in the rally was quite simply, it comes between the parent-child relationship. We go back to the ancient Jewish and Christian scriptures that God created the family, and the family came first before government. Pre-political is what our founders said. And that this bill would come between that. The U.S. Supreme Court for 102 years has said that parental rights are fundamental. First in the case of Meyer versus Nebraska, then Pierce versus Society of Sisters in 1925, where the Supreme Court said that the child is not the mere creature of the state. 1972, Wisconsin versus Yoder. 2000, Troxel versus Granville. And just recently, a few months ago, in the case of Mahmoud versus Taylor, where the U.S. Supreme Court struck down and said that parents do have the right to opt their kids out of curriculum that violates their religious freedom in Montgomery County. So we heard from numerous legislators, numerous speakers. There were about 3,000 to 4,000 people who came out. It's a very hot day here in Sacramento. It was incredibly inspiring to see this. And I think the California Senate and Governor Newsom are getting the message.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. What kind of response do you think this is receiving? Where is the bill right now? What's the latest on the bill, and what do you think is the future for it?
Well, the bill kind of sailed through under the radar in the Assembly. It's already passed the California Assembly, and now it's in the Senate. It's gone through numerous committee meetings, and yesterday in the Appropriations Committee, the California Senate Appropriations Committee could have sent the bill on to the full Senate, but instead they put it on the suspension file. So we are still waiting to see what could happen. Of course, the California Democrats have a supermajority. At any point, they could move the bill off the suspension file, send it to the full Senate floor. But right now, it's still on the suspension file. I think that's a good sign. There is still hope. Today, just seeing the thousands of people who came out, we're hearing that the California Senate is getting phone calls, that Governor Newsom's office is getting phone calls. And so, Congressman, I'm an optimist. I still think that there are engaged parents here, and we're calling on everyone to call their California senators, call Governor Newsom's office, and say reject AB 495. But as I closed in my remarks, if the California Senate does pass this bill, if Governor Newsom does sign it into law, then rest assured, we and our friends at Alliance Defending Freedom and ACLJ and First Liberty and all the conservative legal law firms out there, along with Homeschool Legal Defense, we will zealously defend parental rights. I'm a California licensed attorney. I'm proud to represent California HSLDA members, and we will not let this bill stand if it's used to threaten parental rights.
Great to hear. Great to hear. Tell me, what was the attitude of the people who attended the rally today? Were they as hopeful and optimistic as you? Was it a good morale boosting time? What was it like?
It was one of the most inspiring rallies I've ever been to. I've been to many, I've spoken at many, I've been in Illinois, I've been in New Jersey and other states, but it really, Pastor Jack Hibbs with Calvary Chapel, he really set the stage and said, we need to pray for our legislators. We need to pray for all of them, whether we voted for them or not. That was encouraging and inspiring. The crowd was revved up. We heard from numerous legislators as well. So if I could characterize it in one word, it would be upbeat, ready to go, and make their voices heard.
That's awesome. We had Pastor Jack on with us just yesterday, and he did an amazing job laying this out. And as a result, literally, who knows how many thousands and thousands of people fasting and praying for you and the others right there today. In our closing minute or so, what are some action steps that you would give to our viewing and listening audience right now? What can they do at this point?
The main thing right now is for California listeners, call your California senator. Respectfully, politely, but firmly tell them to please reject AB 495 because of how the bill comes between the parent-child relationship. That's probably the most important thing right now, but you can also call Governor Newsom's office. Obviously, we know that the governor is watching this closely, and I think today's rally on the steps in Sacramento sent a message that California parents, whether they're Republican, Democrat, Latino, white, black, rich, poor, suburban, urban, rural, they do not want the government coming between them and their precious children. So call your state senator, call your governor, and tell them to reject AB 495. For our listeners in other states, please pray. Pray and encourage people to get their message out.
Thank you so much, Will Estrada, Senior Counsel for the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. And by the way, let me just say again, we have a petition that our viewers can sign right now. Just text the word parents to 67742. That's another action step that you can take even right now.